Righty ho. So I'm just starting up my studio time this morning to keep exploring this idea of stenciling. And stencils are sort of seen as an easy thing, but actually, yeah, they are easy, but to make them rich and yeah, just rich in the way they work in a painting or a mixed media piece, you have to work on them, work over them, work within them. Well, that's my way. I work with them anyway. So, anyway, welcome everyone. Welcome this morning. It's Wednesday morning in New Zealand. Okay, so I'm just using acrylic paints, and as you can see, I've got 3 stencil designs in action, and I'll probably use about 4 or 5 in the end. And I'm just working around here at the moment, just behind the stencil, and then I might go over the stencil again. That brush is a bit big for what I want to do next. Don't like going to too small a brush too soon, even for these works. So, yeah, so I'm just going to work the negative space around the stencil, and then I'll re-stencil over, trying to get a bit of dark to light happening. So behind that sort of bulrush stencil, I just want to sort of, I maybe need a bit of, yeah, I'm trying to only use 3 colours, which helps give harmony to the work. So just working into the background here, and going over the stencil, not leaving it pure. Now, the reason to use a limited colour palette is it gives your work harmony. Quite old brushes I'm using too this morning. But I find these sorts of works quite playful, quite fun. Hi out there in the YouTube world. Thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for the feedback. It's always nice to have people in the chat. And yeah, I'm going to do 2 of these today. Hello, Preppy, is it? And Preppy and Zianda. Hope I said that right. I'm not too good being from way down here in New Zealand. Hello. So what happens is the design starts to disappear when you start to work into it, and then I tend to go over again with a stencil, each time adding slightly different colour, and allow that paint to almost bleed into the background a bit. Takes away the hard edge. So I've been an art teacher for heaps of years, and painting for heaps of years as well. So I've been doing this a long time, and always enjoyed it. Always come from a place of enjoying it. So yeah, it's good this morning. Rain on this early summer day for us down here. So all good to go. Quite nice light when you get a bit of cloud when you're painting in the studio. And you don't mind if it gets a bit blobby sometimes, because that might add to it. So just working across here, trying to connect that colour there across here. I hope you can see that okay, because I haven't got any special lighting today. I'm just using the natural light. We're just working what we call the negative space, the space around the stencils at the moment. And I think that's one thing when I see people working with stencils, which they do a lot in graffiti art, is they often, not so much in graffiti art, they often just do one layer. And the more layers you do, the better, I think, in my humble opinion. Yeah, so some of these little works are on exhibition, which is nice. Nice to have them out and about. And they seem quite simple, but you still have to be thinking about what you're doing when you're doing it. Not too hard, but just enough to be aware of some of the things you want to highlight, some of the things you want to be more in the background. And you'll see that starting to change this already. It's making it slightly more painterly down in here, which is what I like. I'm not a smooth, not a totally smooth painter. I like to see a bit of the brush strokes. I like to see sometimes the thickness of the paint coming through. So cerulean blue at the moment. Not mixed, mixing with a little bit of phthalo green as I move over this way. Always good to add a bit more in, a bit more. You want to give, for me, to give the eye some interest. You'll see already that I'll need to lighten up the stalks and things of this in here. Don't care if I go over the edges because I can re-stencil over. It's quite a good exercise to do if you're just wanting to explore ideas, because you're thinking about the painting design and the elements of that painting rather than capturing the image, which frees you up to look at composition, negative space, balance, harmony, verticals, horizontals, which will help to give the painting interest for the viewer. Again, in my humble opinion. Okay, so we're just going to take these and just do a bit more in the background. Okay, now we're going to add another stencil up the top here, which will be sort of the landscapey bit. Now I want to work thirds to divide the picture space. And so I'll start about there. Might just add a bit of, shift a bit of that where it's going to go. Just make that background a bit more interesting. and sort of dry brush over it. Try to be a bit random. Oops. Into the green today. Brush over that stencil a bit. So hopefully you can see that by underpainting with the colour, then keep adding on top, you create an interest, a visual talking point almost. People will go up and look more closely at the artwork because they're going, oh, what's happening there? Just dry brush over that a little bit. More of that blue down here. Again, you can go over the stencil in any parts that you think have disappeared and you want it to come back into be more prominent. Okay, so it's changed quite a lot already in a relatively short space of time. This is where acrylic is good for layering, quick drying, so that you can get on to the next layer. Yeah, so acrylic are maddening and harder to use, I think, in terms of the work you're working with. But for this sort of layering work, acrylic for me all the way. And now we'll start to bring in this landscape sort of hill stencily thing for the background. So I don't want it to be too bright, but what can I add? Always thinking about what colour. Don't like using too much white because it can deaden your work a bit, but we need it, I think, here just to soften that next part of the composition. Tiny bit. Oops. The good thing about this is I don't care if it moves a bit, adds to it sometimes. Right, just going over it really lightly to get an impression of how that's going to look. Making it slightly tonal too, not just one colour, but not one colour, one tint. Back some darks. So again, you're sort of thinking. And then you get a surprise when you lift it up. And this one's not going to be too dramatic. Just get that more foreground area. A bit more happening on it. problem with doing live is I can't have my music going, which I have set up my DJ gear to play while I'm painting. Because of copyright, I can't have the music going. You mind? Well, I don't think that's quite right, I can tell already, but we're going to lift it to see where we're at. Oh, you're too pale. That's all right. That's all right for the time being. We'll move it over this way. Actually, we'll reverse it. And have it there. And we'll work the... Let's see what this looks like now. I've actually got a bit braver with the lighter tint. Probably not the best brush for this. Never mind, I just grabbed what was on the acrylic table. An old scrubbly thing. Right, so that's going to look better because it's going to be... Yeah, that's starting to look better. It's better now. Okay, starting to get a bit of like landscape happening there. Yeah. And you'll see this will have to come lighter too, just to show up. Let's have another go here. Okay, so as I've said before, with my stenciling, it's a layering process. It's not about one layer. It's using it as a guide to essentially paint into the picture space. Let's get some really light here as we move into the supposed background of this sort of semi-abstract landscapey work. These are all called scape. Scaping. Scaping to where? Oh, yep, it's starting to have a bit of stuff happening on it. And then if we get that there. Okay, scrumbling in. Semi-running the brush, but I don't care. Righto. That's it. Yep. It's better. Okay, so what's our time been for this so far? Right, so need to lighten down here, lighter and darker foregroundy, and soften up there. Probably should be using ultramarine up here. No, too green, too green. Too green, too green. Oops, there's a nasty sort of grey thing on there that I'll get rid of. Sort of want the brush strokes to be seen. And normally so if I'm thinking of this as sort of a landscape, the area of sky closest to the land, which will dry brushing of it there, is lightest at the horizon, darker at the top there. Not much water being used, no medium. And I want that texture to come through with all its bobbly bits. That's quite contrast to the another layer. You can still see that underpainting colour coming through, which is why you have it there for me. Okay, so the got to think of a way to leave the eye in here because we've got quite a horizontal thing happening. And lighter there in the I think it's when the dry brush picks up that texture from underneath. That's the best part. Okay, right. That's where we'll leave it today. Thank you, anyone who's tuned in today. And I'll post this progress up as a short a bit later. Anyway, have a good day or night wherever you are. We will catch you later on the YouTube. Yeah. See you next time. Bye.